And so I think that for sports, it's like this, still this, it's a growing landscape. So there's so many creatives and so many people that are in Web2 that's doing dope stuff in sports, in basketball, in lifestyle, in fashion. A lot of athletes are crossing over, becoming fashion models, creating fashion lines, collaborating that way. Athletes are selling TV shows and producing. So all of that has yet to be NFT'd. You know what I mean? So once we're able to, bring all of that into, this Web3 experience, I think sports is going to be the leading dictator and the ultimate collaborator, because our space already has built-in utility. You can go, you can play, you can watch, you can coach, you can produce. So there's all these multiples, all these different ways that, you cannot inject your way into the game.
Sam, how are we doing today?
Dude, tired. I'm not going to lie, bro. NFT and Web3, man. Been a week. Lots of exciting things. We're pushing through. Amazing podcast. How are you, man?
I'm great, man. Just surviving one day at a time.
Yeah.
One day at a time. Still here. But who do we have on for the podcast today?
Today we have a very special guest. NBA All-Star, Baron Davis. Super storied career in the NBA. And then also throughout his entire career, he's always been at the forefront. Media, entertainment, his investments, and it's no surprise that he's been doing really amazing things in the Web3 community. He has a really awesome community project called More Than Us that creates tons of resources, works on different NFT projects that he dives into deep. He also has his own project, The Oatmeals, where he really peels back in our conversation some of the curtains and some of the vision surrounding that project. I really enjoyed speaking with him, man. What stood out to you?
Yeah, no, I just love the way he's thinking about the community, how active he is in terms of all of these different projects, and really just trying to bring more people into the space the right way. He's always been a really savvy investor. I love learning about his investment thesis and, making sure like how he evaluates companies, how he evaluates founders and projects that he wants to work with. Just a super genuine guy, and really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Before we dive in, two quick things. One, if you haven't already, definitely be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, putting out tons of different mini documentaries, behind the drop videos, youtube.com/NFT now. But without any further ado, let's get into this week's episode. Baron Davis. Baron, what's happening, man? Welcome to the podcast.
This is fire, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Fan.
Yeah, no, grateful to have you here, man. How's your NFT NYC week been so far?
It's been a little crazy. It's like, you want to go to stuff, you want to go to everything, but it's just like so much going on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
nonstop.
You got like 8 Fest, you got Moonbirds doing something, you got Avalanche through a party, you got More Than Us, we throwing mixers and parties. Ours was cracking. We was that Sweet Chick.
Wouldn't expect anything less.
It was a good group, good vibes, but it's a lot of great energy, a lot of great people around, and so our job is to really like connect the dots. For More Than Us, it's like to be that cultural epicenter, right? That anytime stuff is popping, or at these conferences and events, people actually get a place and feel like a space where it's like family. You know what I mean? And so when you're walking in the door and it's a MTU, a More Than Us event, right? Everybody feel welcome. Everybody is engaging, and it's not like there are no hosts or nothing like that. People just like getting down, meeting people, connecting, and we're always welcoming more and more incredible minds and people in the space, and into our ecosystem.
It's amazing. Well, I'd love for you just to even dive a little bit deeper. I mean, More Than Us, incredible projects. Can you like set the stage? What exactly is it? What is the mission and vision behind this?
Yeah, so just thinking about Web3 and thinking about community, thinking about utility, and always going back and forth what is important. And so More Than Us, it started out as a think tank of a bunch of people who had different projects. And had different skill sets, developers, web designers, meta architects, right? Myself and a couple people, creatives, storytellers. And so we start thinking about like, how can we define, this opportunity to sit together and think and like actually map out, a real process of how to manufacture NFTs with the community and, build like real tangible utilities, right? And so the concept of More Than Us came about because we all kind of like work on each other's project in this factory type of space. And so we really just was like, how can we be together and do this more often? How can we help more people, come into Web3? How can we help brands, get a head start and not just thinking NFTs, but thinking about, environment building, digital assets, digital collectibles, but more so the tech stack behind that too. It's like what kind of protocol, researching the protocols, researching the technology that's been built on the blockchain, and also understanding what was built in Web 2, to figure out what the difference is. So More Than Us, it's like we came together and we were like, all right, whose project's first, who's next? And we kind of treat ourselves like this cool, studio that, every month there's a new project, right? And then, we do mixers and dinners and, it's kind of just bringing people in, in and across this bridge, right? Building this bridge, which I think is the most important thing. And then being inclusive, thinking about, women's role and their responsibility and the opportunity and the access, and saying like, how do, the women co-founders and More Than Us get a huge win, and how can we surround them with the right ecosystem of people so they can lead the way? We're looking at one of our co-founders is starting the Premier Skate Association, which is a new skateboard league. And so, how do we support that? Like, what's the right chain? What's the right ecosystem for that? Our co-founder, Flip, the meta architect, he's building out what we call Rehydrate, which is like a self-sustaining single player metaverse that deals with like healing and yoga and therapy and mental, just kind of a place that you can go to detach, right, from all the games and just, the net and the web, and like have your own kind of island where you can go and meditate and, just kind of like cleanse yourself, you know what I mean? And be in like an empty space. So, and then my project, History of the Game, and looking at how do we take basketball, right, sports, lifestyle, fashion, music, all of this is in one culture, right? And when we look at basketball, I'm a big champion of the lifestyle, the storytelling around it, not just the game. And so we're building a museum called History of the Game, where we'll be able to access players will be able to access the museum, induct each other, tell each other's stories, tell stories together, collaborate with other NFT, companies out there that are, making basketball NFTs. It's so many fans that we really want to be able to like build a museum now, right? So in the future years ahead, like it just continues to like, recalibrate and like fill itself up with these new stories and these new legends that are going to be inducted. So, our goal was like, together we can win. If we move together, we'll win, right? When we go to these conferences and we all meet together and hang out together, people will see us. And so therefore, like the minority, won't look like the minority at these conferences anymore. Like, and you'll be able to identify us, right? Because we over here partying, doing dope stuff, connecting, you know what I mean? And we're visible, you know what I mean? We're we're not loud. We just, we make noise, and we pretty much just humble and welcoming to all people, all races, all creeds, because the goal is like, how do we build an inclusive community of us, of people who are like-minded and thinkers together. So, More Than Us, that's how I came about. And now we just putting all the projects on the shelf, put all the development tools and play matchmaker.
I love that. I love that. One of the things that's so inspiring about NFTs is the way that it creates this new bond between a creator or a figure, public figure, and their community, right? And I think it unlocks different levels of fandom. And so I'm curious to hear. You've been obviously a big advocate for this technology in the sports space, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about how NFTs kind of change the game for athletes and their fans, and what the impact will be going forward as we reach more mainstream adoption.
Yeah, that's a great question, by the way. I think being in this space, we saw the first movers in Top Shot. Shout out to Top Shot, Dapper Labs. And what they did was like take the idea of a card and bringing a card into a digital space and bringing it to life with a highlight clip. So that was dope. And then autographs started moving in the space. Oh, you can sign the card and get a personalized card, from your favorite celebrity. And it was like taking this idea of the Topps card and the autographs that we would sign and you would get and digitizing that. And I think for them, it's like they kind of pioneered the space, and it's a few others out there, a couple other projects, Ballies, NFT Genius, but the Ballers NFT, the Ballies, they dropped on crypto.com. And it's just like, and now you got the sneaker culture, you know what I mean? Everybody is into sneakers. And so I think that for sports, it's like still this naked landscape. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like Top Shot got a corner, you know what I mean? And the Dapper ecosystem, they got a corner, but it's a big landscape, you know what I mean? And so how do we, it's a growing landscape. So there's so many creatives and so many people that are in Web 2 that's doing dope stuff in sports, in basketball, in lifestyle, in fashion. A lot of athletes are crossing over, becoming fashion models, creating fashion lines, collaborating that way. Athletes are selling TV shows and producing. Athletes are now going in the middle of their career, signing deals with ESPN, things like that, creating their own podcasts. So all of that has yet to be NFT'd, you know what I mean? So once we're able to, bring all of that into, this Web3 experience, I think sports is going to be the leader, the leading dictator, and the ultimate collaborator because, our space already has built-in utility. You can go, you can play, you can watch, you can coach, you can produce, you know what I mean? So there's all these multiples, all these different ways that, you cannot inject your way into the game. And so the way we think about it as MTU, like we're going to start, putting on, what we call slick games at these conferences where it's like little 3-on-3 tournaments, flag football, cornhole, just bringing out, a kind of fun, amateur, professional landscape of sports and gaming. So when people start coming to these events, they actually have, use cases for a lot of these protocols and a lot of these tokens. Now they can partner with Slick, and then you can actually use it, at our events, or use it in our content with some of our, influencers and content creators in our network.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fascinating. And I think that's excited to see which different use cases really start to kind of take over and really start to just bring on the average fan. Because right now there's still very much is like, Dapper did that really well. They made it so easy for people to actually purchase NFTs. And it's crazy because even a lot of the other like leading platforms outside of that realm today still haven't necessarily cracked the code as well as Dapper did with Top Shot more than a year ago now. So you've always been very active in media, entertainment, investing throughout your entire career. Like what stands out? What excites you about like Web3 and NFTs in general? Obviously this disruptive technology.
Yeah, I think just for me, like all my talents kind of come into this synergistic place. Like I can use my investment eye to look at certain things and, see how it fits in a greater ecosystem because it's early. I can use my marketing, to say, all right, who does this appeal to? Who can I connect the dots? Who can I help find to be a part of this project? My creativity and just being a creative, like I just get to go in a lab, you know what I mean, and just create, you know what I mean, create. And then I would say the fourth thing, just from like a biz dev strategy, is like it's a way to help people figure out who, when, what, where, when do you go, when do you stop, you know, just kind of navigate, you know, kind of like this naked landscape, and like, don't go over there. You know, if there's a corner over here, let's go build out the corner. Don't go paint all the way in the other corner. You know what I mean? And so building that connective tissue, you know, and more than us being that connective tissue through our events, you know, through our dinners, things like that. I think that this whole greater community of sports and lifestyle, like what Web3 is asking for is to party, hang out, create experiences. We come from that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
create those.
Yeah.
We do that with our basketball camps. We do that, you know, with the Drew League All-Star. You know, we're doing that today with the draft, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're able to, you know, create an in real life experience, right, for a draft and a draft watch party, but also, you know, today we'll be launching a metaverse. And so people who aren't here, right, you don't need to just go on YouTube and watch us. You can actually go purchase NFTs, go into the metaverse and have this experience, right, of content, you know, content in the metaverse and content in an environment around you. So, you know, this greater community, like there's so much for us as more than us to kind of like be the concierge or the welcoming party, you know, for a lot of these athletes and people transitioning. And I think that, you know, for me, it's like, you know, I kind of found a place where, you know, I can just connect with talented people and like make things happen. Yeah. And so that's kind of what Web3 is, you know, to me and to us. It's like the opportunity for collective minds to work together and not have to worry about, you know, all of the legal ramifications or, you know, it's just like all the unnecessary clutter and BS around building a company, right? And what we learned before, like we get to kind of think about our business different, right? We get to think about our business holistically, right? And then we also can have a job and I can go and help you with your NFT. Yeah. I can go help you with yours and be a part of a community, a working community that is giving something back to you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, so you have been in this space for a minute and actively engaged, making different investments. I mean, how do you think the space has really evolved and kind of changed over the course of the past year and a half or so?
It's just so hard because you want to work with people, you want to collaborate, but like a lot of times people are so adamant about building what they want to build. And I think like Web3 is kind of like starting to become that too. You know what I mean? You know, like a couple years ago, right, there was this love, right? There was this kind of like shared resource, shared knowledge. You know what I mean? Whether it was, I mean, we don't know, whether it was somebody was just trying to, you know, jug on us or get us to, you know, buy some tokens so they can cash out it. I mean, really, I haven't experienced any of that. You know, I've experienced people in the space like that, but just kind of steer clear. But everything like 2 years ago was just super friendly, super collaborative. How can we help? How can we work together? And I think a lot of that, you know, just coming here to New York, it's becoming very, very competitive. And people are starting to create guardrails. And I think that it's too early for that. And, you know, I do believe that there are gatekeepers, right? And those gatekeepers are, you know, choosing, you know, who are the rock stars in this space and not letting the people who are real rock stars be rock stars. And I think that's where, my concern is for Web3, because you got a lot of people who are smart in business, smart in marketing, and they don't care. They just want to be famous, right? They just want to get a Hollywood movie, or like hang out with Hollywood stars or athletes or rappers or, the top business people. Like, we want to make sure like the rock stars are the rock stars, and the people that are at the top, we should be curators. You know what I mean?
I do.
We should be real curators, and you should be able to look at somebody and say, man, what does his gallery look like? What does his museum look like? And when you walk in the museum, you should see their connection to the community and the artists and the people, like the people that they champion.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm just concerned because there's so much talent, and there's, we're still small
Mm-hmm.
in this space. So I just think that, like, my message to people out there listening is like, man, we gotta do a better job of spreading the wealth around, because that's what Web3 and crypto is all about. Is being on a platform, being in a group, being on a chain that we're all sharing resources.
Yeah.
And so let's not forget about that. Let's make sure we stick to that as a community, as a culture, and continue to share and opportunities like this. It was like, yo, come on the show. It's like, man, hell yeah. It's like that vibe,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then when we all start going to these conferences, like, get organized so we look better to the world,
Yeah.
So Web3 look better to the world, so when people come in, they not running at 25 different events, that are just people selling, serving cheese and like Sprite and a few cocktails. Like, we gotta get some real food. Like, if we all piece up together, we can have some food trucks.
Meal.
Yeah.
Damn. All this cheese, bro. It's like, I'm gonna be farting. You be farting out. You can't even get a word out. When you pitching somebody, you just start farting from all the cheese.
the side of NFT NYC they don't like to talk about.
That's right.
All the people in them parties farting, eating all that damn cheese and alcohol.
And those are some crowded rooms.
And all you got
can't
is
escape. You can't escape.
Them little crackers ain't gonna hold that, man. It's like, damn, what happened? It's like everybody farting, dude.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I think it's interesting what you're talking about as far as like pulling resources and really trying to empower others. And I feel like I do agree that the whole like wag me, we're all gonna make it, like that is becoming, like, people are realizing like that is largely an impossible reality for starters.
Absolutely.
But there still is something in a very special, like, shared optimism. I was having a conversation last night. Matt and I both spent a lot of time in the music industry, which is like a very cutthroat industry.
Bingo.
And there is a significant, like, shared sense of optimism, because as we all, like, a rising tide does lift all ships. As more people come into the space, it helps everybody. So people are collaborative in that way. Like, how have you felt? Has it been exciting for you to just be engaging in this space, surrounded by so much optimism?
Yes, the energy is great. The energy, the entrepreneurs, just the artists, right? The real artists out there that's getting down. The new media, right? Yeah. The new hosts, the new podcast hosts, the new interview. People who are interviewing. It's cool because I've been on these conferences for about a year and a half, and like, you see the same people.
Yeah.
But it's starting to grow,
right?
And now you're saying like, oh, like, I used to see these people do marketing for Nike, you know what I mean, or Jumpman or Brand Jordan, and now like they're talking Web3, and so you're starting to see, the migration happening, which is super cool. But the energy is just so alive, and like for me, I get a chance to be an artist, be a creative, be an amplifier and a connector, you know?
Yeah.
And then from a business standpoint, just look at who are the next incredible minds that, you know, we can invest in, and, you know, our time, you know, our resources, and our connections.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. And you've been very active on the investment front, you know, prior to Web3, and very active now in Web3 as well. And I'm just curious, like, how would you describe sort of like your investment approach or your investment thesis generally?
My investment thesis is to look at, you know, people for who they are. To everybody has a level playing field. Everybody gets the same attention. You know what I mean? Because it's an opportunity for me to sharpen my skills as an investor. And so we look at, you know, things that other people don't look at. You know, it's like we don't have boxes to check off because we are the boxes. You know what I mean? So,
I like that.
you know, we love incredible minds. I mean, I am one to clearly ask, are there any women on the cap table? Are any people of color on the cap table? You know, what is I care about the culture, the community of what this entrepreneur, this founder is building. How are we hiring? How are we including? Where are we going to look? And so that's where we kind of like, that's where I sink in with the founder, right? Because I feel like it's important for us to like get behind founders and projects and people and companies that kind of breed what we're trying to build, you know, Web 2 and Web 3. And so it's really about the founder. I would say, you know, and it's about the look. Like we actually, like you walk in the room and you're a Black female, we're like, we're going crazy, you know what I mean? And it's like, we want to give that energy because I know, you know, when I walked in a bunch of rooms when I was first raising money, you feel like, you know, you had a talent show and it's like the role is not for you anyway. You know what I mean? It's like this role is not written for me. And so when entrepreneurs start coming in and, you know, they are different, right? Or of the minority, we kind of like really embrace that, right? And we really like give them an energy, you know what I mean? And then for everyone else, it's like this, you know, we give that same energy, right? And so, you know, there's this feeling of getting to know someone, but better understanding yourself. And I say for us, we want to make sure that incredible people, incredible ideas, extraordinary IP, extraordinary talent, right? And if we can continue to connect the dots, then, you know, they will absorb them in the More Than Us ecosystem because they'll have no choice, right? And be a part of what they're building and be, you know, as helpful as we can. So just thinking about like the time, the space, the industry, like we've invested in fintech, we've invested in health tech, consumer products, we've invested in social justice platform, we've invested in beverages, real estate tech. So, you know, and blockchain tech, thinking about digital asset management and how, you know, valuable that is. So that was one. Thinking about, you know, fintech rewards platform that, you know, pays you out in Bitcoin, or you can receive Bitcoin or crypto. Just fortunate to be around, you know, I think it goes towards having these dinners, having these mixers, and just being curious about what people are doing. So I would say like the thesis is in the ethos, you know what I mean? And in the routine and the playbook that we set for ourselves. You know what I mean? If we can become the team that just operates and knows how to do this every time it happens, then, you know, our job is to connect the dots and amplify people. So that's easy, you know?
That's amazing, man. No, it's fun to see how it takes shape, and also love to the point. I mean, said a lot of great things, but also just how a lot of interesting talent that's super experienced across all these other industries is kind of coming into the space and like building this whole new industry. It's been fascinating to see. And then I think too, I mean, I'm curious and just want to dive a little deeper into some of your specific projects as well. Like I know in like last winter, Christmas time, you had the Black Santa NFT drop. I feel there's lots of interesting angles there. Would love for you to touch on a couple and like the intentionality behind this project.
Yeah, so Black Santa, you know, our December drop was like, all right, let's do something where people can just purchase an NFT. $10, $100. Like, this is not about like grabbing money. This is about like our first time actually having our IP that we can get to people. You know, the previous years, it's like, all right, we're doing merchandise. You got to do all these big merchandise orders. Then you got to do all this fulfillment. And then it's like, you're missing all the fun because you're working so hard. You know what I mean? And then, you know, the next year we were like, you know what, let's just build out our version of a winter wonderland because it was the pandemic. And so nobody could, you know, go anywhere. And my kids were in the house and I was like, man, their friends are in the house and everybody's like, you know, being COVID safe. But I was like, damn, let's take the studio and turn it into a winter wonderland. Let's get the Black Santa mascot and just do like a private, you know, like tour for families. And that became a hit. And I was like, damn, dude, this is dope. And so when December of last year rolled around, it was like, oh, we already did a Winter Wonderland. We've already made content. We have a ton of merchandise, you know what I mean? Because it's such a short window to move all this product that we were like, hey, why don't we take this opportunity to like give to our community? Like let's be a platform. Let's make our first NFT something that people feel like, okay, I understand this. This is worth the value. And, you know, we had Black Santa in all the Christmas Day uniforms because basketball is, you know, big in our lives. And that is like the national day of basketball games. And, you know, I woke up, you know, I was nervous because I was like, all right, it's going to take about 2-3 days, you know, maybe a week leading up to Christmas. And it was just like 12 minutes, boom, it was gone. I didn't even get one for myself. So I don't.
They go fast sometimes, right?
I literally don't own one for myself. I'm like, everybody's like, yo, I got these. I got the Brooklyn and the Laker. And I'm like, what happened? They're like, yo, they're out. And I was like, damn, okay, this is cool. And so for me with Black Santa, you know, being the founder and the creator, it's like cartoons, music, movies, holiday specials, basketball game tour. You know, we also own the trademark to League of Santas. And so we want to create a League of Santas. So, you know, thinking about, you know, what does your Santa look like from your region, from your heritage? Like, why does Santa have, like, Santa is whoever we make it up to be. And so having this League of Santas, you know, IP that we're going to launch, we're working on one of our favorite games, Mario Kart, and thinking about Black Santa and his world and, you know, all the world of characters. We're dropping our snow people this year just to like start so people can start collecting, filling out the world, filling out the different characters leading up to Christmas. And then in Christmas time, you know, we're going to be doing a couple concerts for our members. We're going to be taking them to games. Some people are going to have cameo roles and voiceover roles. And, you know, we have I think it's like an 8-minute animated short film that, you know, we're putting out. And so, you know, we're trying to be resourceful, and we're also trying to help our community grow. And then, you know, we've been working on, you know, the Black Santa license for small business. So think about like small mom and pop businesses being able to have that license, sell merchandise, and then own their own inventory. And so, you know, for us, we never want to burden our NFT holders. We want to give to them. So like if you own, you know, the license for t-shirts, like That's your money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's your money. And so, you know, if you own, you know, one of the NFTs for collaboration on a song, you may wind up on a song with Jordan Sparks because she's, you know, we're gonna they got a big reveal with her and who she is, you know, in this world of, you know, Black Santa and You Wish. So, you know, that was just like, how do we continue to build utilities? How do you build a game that works, that you want to play? How do you build casual games that people can, you know, earn points, earn merch, you know, earn these experiences? And for me, it was just like really like building out this world of holiday, looking at holiday characters. And so, you know, Black Santa is one of, I think, 12 other, you know, original IP and characters that we have. And so he's going to basically be like a DJ and a host introducing other characters, other heritages. We just partner with a company called In Kids Co. And they do culture boxes. And so think like books and, you know, like little packages of books, reading materials, trinkets, you know, stickers, things like that appeal to, you know, different heritages and really start to sink in on understanding like where we come from and being proud of, you know, who we are and where we come from. So, you know, in the winter time and then going forward, it's just gonna be drops and, you know, drops of giving, drops of culture, including people into this whole, you know, Black Santa You Wish ecosystem. And you know, and then hopefully get into like bigger movies. You know, we're working on a live action movie for Black Santa. And we got a really, really interesting dude that, you know, we're trying to sign to play.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to come back. You know what? I want to bring him back.
Yeah.
I want to bring him and, you know, our like producing partners and writers because they know nothing about NFTs. And it's cool because like we're learning and they're also learning as we're like going through this journey. So, you know, it'd be cool to like have them on the show, announce, you know, the movie that we're gonna do a live action movie for Black Santa. And I think we're gonna have like we got the makings and the recipe of like, you know, really talented people who, once again, people like, man, like I'd never underestimate this person, but they're underestimated, you know? And so that is like a special project to me because now it's, you know, I've built all this IP, all this story, and now I can like give it away, right?
Yeah, you know, I love the intentionality of, you know, of your thought process around the utility, the community building, all of these things that are so important for like a community-based NFT project.
Right.
I think it's it's hard for a lot of people to wrap their heads around who aren't in Web3, just like all those different moving parts and like the dynamics that are at play there. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned from launching Black Santa, and any like insights that you think might be helpful to share for those who might be interested in also like launching their own project?
Yeah, I would say you have to figure out how to create an engaging workspace or an engaging collaboration space, right? And so as we know in Web3, people come and go and leave and move companies, and you know, and so a lot of shit can. Oh, excuse my language. But, I can say shit. Yeah. A lot of shit gets lost or mistaken, or it's on that person's phone and that person's computer, and so I think just, you know, consistency and start thinking. You know, you have to think outside of Discord, right? You have to think outside of Discord. And you have to think of Discord as like a megaphone, right? And you're like, yo, call in all guards. And, you know, it's like, we're going over here, right? But the Discord is a good way to like initiate an audience, but it's not the only way. You know what I mean? Build consistency, build an environment, and focus on utility, a real utility. And people who are out there buying, when you're buying a project, I mean, when I'm buying a project, there's pretty much one way I look at it. Oh, I like it. It's cool artwork. You know what I mean? And Other than that, I'm done with it. You know what I mean? If I go deeper, then it's like, oh, what's the utility, right? And do I really give a shit about taking some lemons off the tree in my NFT to like make more lemonade, or you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like staking lemons and all that shit. It's like, am I really gonna be like, sitting at my house waiting to stake lemons to make lemonade,
Yeah.
right? It's you gotta pick the utility and the things that are for you. And then if someone is hiding behind a project, I'm cool. I need to see your face, bro. I need to know who you are, sis. You know what I mean? I need to know what we doing, people. And I need to see the people behind it. I need to know the people that are involved. Don't tweet me, text me, DM me, like I don't want no insider shit, and I don't know who's making it. You know what I mean? So it's, kind of looking at those three verticals. But the first one is like, oh, this is cool artwork. I want it in my gallery, and I buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess as we come towards a close, man, I'm curious, like what else, like over the course of the next years, like what are some of the other things that like you really want to do, and as you kind of come in and create an impact in this space?
Yeah, I would say for me, Black Santa is like for the community. My personal project is the Oatmeal. So oatmeals.io. I created a character called Bart Oatmeal. And the reason why it's personal, because when I hurt myself for the Knicks and my career was over, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was just like, man, I'm gonna be a creative. And it was almost like I couldn't go to the court, right, because all the trauma. And so I didn't have a place to like for my mind to wander or feel like I was safe mentally, you know what I mean, or a mental outlet and a physical outlet. And then I started going to Platinum Studios. The great Grammy Award winning Jerry Wonder, who one of the co-creators of the Fugees with Wyclef, he just started taking me in and like teaching me how to like let me sit in on Miguel's session, Buster's session, you know what I mean? Estelle, and I started like just absorbing music, man. And then, I had my kids, I got divorced, and I was like, damn, dude, I'm kicked out the house. What the hell am I gonna do? And so I went and I lived in the studio and I forced myself to make music, as a way to kind of deal and heal. And, the Oatmeals is just a result of that. And Bart Oatmeal is my NFT, and the character I created. And so, the thought was Bart Oatmeal is the legend is Bart Oatmeal. And everybody can be an oatmeal because everybody is a legend and they have a story to tell, which is your legend. And, I now I'm going to put out music, through Bart Oatmeal and these NFTs. But it was I figured out a great way to collaborate with people, and build out a project that one has music. So you got the music Oatmeal. So it's not just Bart, like, for instance, a bunch of LA artists and producers like Mike and Keys, G Perico, Jay Stone, you know what I mean? Like a good like underground Dom Kennedy network, Glasses Malone, Problem, like this LA, the LA real, people who just who people love, and so they all got Oatmeals. Then I got the Oatmeal Legends with all the basketball people. So all of my favorite players, I turned into Oatmeals, right? And so with that, it's like they'll be able to mint up to 1,000 of their own as a way of me saying, just thank you for being you. Here's your oatmeal, and your oatmeal is ultimately secured and can transport into, any of our worlds. And so, and then another great story about the Oatmeals is the artist. I literally found this dude on Twitter. He was like posting stuff, and I was like, "Hey man, your stuff fire." He was like, and then he DM'd me my character Bart Oatmeal in his like voxel like artwork. Yeah. And so he like started making Bart Oatmeal and DMing him to me, and I'm like, "Man, what are you doing?" Like, and I start seeing his work. and, you know, come to find out, you know, his story and, you know, his journey, and you talking about somebody who, you know, who under resourced, underutilized, right, out here, you know, struggling to make ends meet. And when he, you know, when we connected, he was like, "Yo, bro, I'm not like you. I'm not rich. I work a 9 to 5, and I'm really in the trenches." You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Hold on, then. How can we collaborate, right, and build out this?" Is Brandon Jennings right there in his brand Tough Crowd. How do we collaborate? Because I'm not really in this for like money, bro. Like if me and you get together and it's our project, you know what I mean? Then like you're gonna benefit, and like that's an incredible success story. And then I get to be able to like be cool with my friends and do like cool NFTs of like everybody I'm friends with, and actually give them the opportunity to like give something to their fans. And so, you know, I could go on and on and on about, you know, the utility side of Bard Oatmeal and the oatmeals, but just thinking about the music, the merchandise, we'll have cassette tapes, we'll have CDs, we'll have vinyl. It's not, you know, my Bard's album is he got 2 albums first, and then, you know, a bunch of features, and then other people start releasing their albums, you know, as oatmeal. So, you know, big fans of what, you know, Bored Ape Yacht Club did with the Ape Club. So just kind of looking at the oatmeals as a way for people to have real ownership, you know, of their IP, but be able to like produce music, produce merchandise. What else are we doing? We'll have a video game coming. You'll be able to play your oatmeal in our Mario Kart game as well. And
It's
then
gonna be a good race, bro. You versus me.
When are we racing?
And then the currency are bowls. So Bard Oatmeal's slogan is "Get a bowl," and so the currency will be bowls. So you'll be able to like collect bowls and trade your bowls in for like dope merchandise, dope opportunities to like be at concerts. There's also a Bard Oatmeal performance pass where when you get the album, you know, hopefully you learn the lyrics the way you're supposed to, but you'll be able to go on one of our shows on the road and be able to perform as
Sick.
Bard Oatmeal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's awesome.
So, you know, when you're ready, when y'all ready, y'all can just
I'm
Ready,
ready.
right
Step
now,
in.
come on, bro. You ain't gotta ask us. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming through, man. It's amazing to see how you're coming into the space and leveraging your platform to empower others, to kind of showcase and create precedents around utility and how people can approach their projects in the right way, man. So keep up all the good work.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you
This
for
is
joining
awesome.
us.
This show is dope, man. Y'all keep pushing the culture, and like y'all really putting on for everybody, and you know everybody's equal when they come in here, and that's the feeling, that's the vibe. So salute.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, really enjoyed that conversation, man. I think love what he's doing. He's leveraging his platform, his relationships, More Than Us, super cool initiative. Really excited and grateful we had a chance to chop it up. What's it out to you, man?
Yeah, I just love the intentionality behind the projects he's working on, from Black Santa to the oatmeals and beyond. Like, I think that he's clearly like jumping in with this and really looking to make a positive impact through his engagement with the space. I love it. I think that it will also help inspire other athletes to enter the space in a credible and meaningful way. And I think he can be a really important figure in helping bring this technology mainstream.
Yeah, and I also really enjoyed how he kind of dove into the intersection between NFTs and sports. I mean, obviously he did a good job kind of highlighting what the success of Dapper and Top Shot, but also just pointed out very eloquently that, I mean, that's a small slice of this collective pie. It's a vast landscape. That's one specific use case and one model. But in this podcast and in this episode, he kind of breaks down, given his experience and his expertise in that space, some of the different models and some of the different opportunities at the intersection of Web3 and sports. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate the continued support. We'll be back next week. Until then, we out.